The drinking and driving laws of Missouri only allow a very small amount of alcohol to be consumed by anyone operating a car, and laws are even more severe if the driver is a minor.
Here in the state of Missouri, if you are stopped and you take a alcohol breath test and the test reveals that your blood alcohol content is over 0.08, you are presumed to be intoxicated and impaired and can be prosecuted under the law. However, there is the possibility that even though you don't blow 0.08, that you could be charged with a driving while intoxicated if you show signs that you are intoxicated. Well, if a minor is caught drinking and driving and their alcohol content is over 0.02 or they are in possession of alcoholic beverage, they immediately have their license taken away, and that suspension of their license will run for 90 days.
The state considers drinking and driving to be a very serious offense, and violators usually are forced to spend thousands on legal fees, fines, and education.
The judge can order victims impact panel as part of his sentence. The court, if the court were to place a person on probation, as part of that probation, they could order the victims impact panel. They could order SATOP.
But the real cost of drinking and driving is not measured in dollars. It is measured in the death of innocent victims and the cost to surviving families. The Victims Impact Panel and SATOP programs bring violators face to face with the realities of drunk driving.
My name's Debbie. And the reason I got involved with trying to stop the drinking and driving is because of Kim. You know, it was just a week before I was thinking she's out of high school. She's going to college. I'm gonna have grandkids. She's gonna get married one of these days. All the bad things are already past us. She's made it. They come down to the emergency room door and got us and said, "You need to come back. See, Kim's passed away."
I mean, I don't remember driving anywhere. I don't remember leaving the parking lot, but I was driving. It was reported that I was driving 116 miles an hour when I impacted a van from behind. It skid them off the road. They flipped down, hit a culvert, ejected two of the people. There were 3 people in the van. 2 of the people are deceased, and the other one has life-altering injuries.
When we were getting ready to pass each other, she darted straight left towards my lane. And you know, she's going 60 to 70 miles per hour and I'm going the same speed. So there's a split second to react. I tried to swerve to miss, but you know, that speed, there's just not enough time, and hit head on. Cars came to rest. Everything was just a big mangled piece of metal. I mean,
I wasn't trashed. I mean, I had a pretty good buzz going, but I mean, nothing. I mean, I'd driven a lot worse than that before.
But I've seen it from, you know, amputations, decapitations, just people's bodies so severely twisted and mangled you can't even hardly tell if they're face up or face down, and it's really a bad thing. And like I say, these people that end up this way are usually not the ones that are doing the drinking and driving. It's the innocent victim, and I mean, it's really sad and it's heartbreaking, and probably one of the hardest things, you know, that we in the field would ever have to do is we pull up on a scene like this and family members show up, and to tell that mom or that dad that their child is dead, or to tell that child that their parent is dead. There's no words to explain those feelings and those emotions that you go through in this business.
During this night, we are not here to point fingers at you. We are not to shame you. We're not to blame you for anything. We are here to educate you on the hazards of drinking and driving, and for you to see and hear from real people about what effect drinking and driving has on our community.
I don't cut any brakes. The reason I don't cut any brakes is because when you start doing that, number one, you're not doing anybody any good. But anytime I pull an injured person or a dead person out of a car, I don't get to cut them a brake. So why am I going to cut the driver a brake?
I mean, I don't remember driving anywhere. I don't remember leaving the parking lot, but I was driving.
They left the club, going home, having a good time, I guess, and next minute they come up on a van, rammed it at a high rate of speed.
I crossed 4 lanes of traffic, impacted a concrete culvert at a bridge at 76 miles an hour after hitting the van. I was still traveling fairly fast. My friend had a seatbelt on that, God willing, she put on for some reason. She had some bruises and scrapes and stuff, but she was okay, and I was trapped under the steering wheel. Pretty much walked away.
I remember both of the 2 girls talking back and forth and laughing a little bit about the whole event. I remember my partner, infuriated, said, "Do you not know you just killed 3 people?" And they never said another word to us.
I don't remember anything at the hospital until the highway patrol officer came in, and I asked him if I heard anybody, and he said, "Yes, ma'am, you've killed 2 people." And after that, I remember my dad coming in, and I went into hysterics.
And while tragedy cannot be reversed, society severely punishes those who violate the drinking and driving laws. But it is always the personal cost which is the highest.
Do I deserve to go to jail? Yeah. I broke the law, for one, and I took lives. I deserve worse than jail. But I have a little boy I have to fight for.
Courtney Bailey's son will be almost grown when Courtney leaves prison.
I drove an Explorer, and you couldn't see the Explorer standing on the other side of the road. I mean, you know, it was level with the ditch. And she was partially ejected, so, and then she died.
Jenna Johnson will never see her best friend again.
When you go from, you know, jogging a mile a day, or, you know, I was jogging several miles in a week, to not being, you know, being homebound. You know, you're just in a chair, then you work yourself to crutches, and, you know, you lose all your muscle. After several months, you get weak. And I've recovered to the point where I'm good as I'm ever going to be, but I've already started to develop arthritis in my hip.
Daniel Garner will always feel pain.
We had a funeral, and we didn't have an open casket. She was 19. You know, if somebody else did her hair and makeup that day, she wouldn't want to be seen that way. At the end of that funeral, they took her to the cemetery and they put her in a hole in the ground and they threw dirt on top of my 19-year-old baby. I had to leave the cemetery and leave her there.
And Debbie Lundstrom's heart will always be broken. And drivers will always have a choice to obey the law or destroy lives.